Welcome back, Fletcher here, and in this video we're going to go over OCB, Lookdown, Warps, and Boosts. These are concepts and techniques that are vital to understand to do well in GoldenEye speedrunning. New members of the community and those unfamiliar with it often chuckle when they hear about OCB, which stands for Overall Control of Bond, a term regularly used in the elite. It's essentially an intelligible metric for how good your overall movement is as you play the game. The two biggest parts of your OCB are what we refer to as lines and stucks. Your lines refer to the path you take as you play through a level. In order to get the best times, you want to take the most efficient path that you can. For lines, you want to think of it like connect the dots. You want to cut close to corners and set your next line to go immediately to the next turn. This graphic here shows the difference between bad lines on the left, good lines in the middle, and the best possible lines on the right. You can see that on the right, very specific angles are set to get movement directly to the next turn, whereas on the other two, it's somewhat unoptimal. The most common line-related issues that we see with beginners are wide or possibly rounded turns, as opposed to sharp corners, bad lines, and in particular, taking a while to set a line, meaning that you wobble a lot as you take a turn and set a new line. Stucks are what we call those times where Bond stops moving and gets stuck on various parts of the level thanks to GoldenEye's occasionally wonky polygons, doors, walls, railings, etc. As you play, you want to move smoothly through the level and not get stuck on anything. A common issue we see in beginner runs as well is that they have a lot of these stucks. As you play more and improve, you want to make sure you make as few movements as possible, take straight lines, cut corners tight, and avoid getting stuck at all. Lines are often a vitally overlooked part of a beginner player's runs, so make sure you keep an eye out and make this a major focus as you start and work to improve. And remember, since we use strafe running, it's generally best to maintain either left or right strafe. It takes Bond time to decelerate and accelerate in the new direction, so avoid switching strafes when unnecessary. If you're unsure which way to strafe at certain times, watch some of the top runs on that level to get a good idea. The never-ending meme in GoldenEye running is how we spend the entire time looking at the ground. While there are plenty of levels where this is not the case, it is an important part of how we play the game. This is referred to by the community as Lookdown. Since we use the in-game timer and the N64 is a relatively old console, rendering extra objects can mess up the timer and cause you to get slower times. It's estimated that Lookdown saves approximately 1 second per minute of gameplay, which while that doesn't seem like a lot now, it very quickly becomes the difference between Dam 53 and another Dam 54 dupe. There are a couple of occasions where looking up instead of down is appropriate, one of which I'll go over when I discuss Dam Agent. But in general, watch some of the top runs on levels to get a good idea of when to use Lookdown and how much Lookdown to use. It's important as you start improving that you get good at using Lookdown and still setting good lines as well. The unsung hero of GoldenEye speedrunning, in my honest opinion, is what we refer to as warping. When there is enough lag present, the game treats Bond as if he essentially has no size or width, and he is thus able to squeeze through very small gaps. Anyone familiar with the famous Depot Agent Warp is already aware of the uses of this mechanic. It is largely used to quickly bypass through the many slowly opening doors of the game, and is quietly responsible for over a full minute of time saves across the entire game. The most common way to cause a warp to occur is switching weapons. Switching to certain weapons causes more or less lag and makes certain warps harder or easier. Switching to something that takes very little energy to render, such as remote mines, causes nowhere near enough lag to cause a warp under most circumstances. If you're wondering what type of switch you should use to get warps, watch some vids of the level in question. If you're doing warps right, it should almost seem as if there's not even a door or anything blocking your way. The biggest thing that I've found that helps nail sick warps is setting Bond at the right angle. If Bond is not attempting to move in the right direction through the gap as the lag is created, it will result in a missed warp. Think of it this way, even though Bond has no size, he's still ultimately running into a wall as opposed to going through the gap if you don't set the right angle. So if you think you're doing everything right and still not hitting warps, try adjusting Bond's angle and make sure that you're strafe running as well, as Bond's momentum is an important factor of hitting warps. The last topic I will cover in this video is what we refer to as boosts. When Bond takes damage, he is pushed in the direction away from where he received it. If Bond is moving away from a guard, for instance, and then gets shot by said guard, he will be boosted away from the guard, essentially giving him a momentary burst of speed and saving approximately 0.3 seconds. We simply call this a boost or a forward boost if you feel the need to be that specific. However, if Bond is moving towards a guard and then gets shot, he gets pushed the other way, losing about 0.3 seconds instead. We call this a back boost, or just a back for short. So, in general, you want to run where you get a lot of boosts and very few if any back boosts. Some people will refer to their runs and talk about their boost ratio, or ratio of boost to back boosts, in the form of a X to Y run. So, if I played Caverns Agent for instance and got 3 boosts and 2 backs, I would say that it was a 3-2 run. It is also possible to get shot from a different angle, resulting in an awkward side boost. These don't often lose too much time, but they don't generally help either and might knock you into other obstacles. You are also able to self-boost by using grenades, mines, boxes, and similar explosives. These are used heavily on levels such as Runway Agent and Facility Agent where these explosives are readily available. It is also important to note that Bond is unable to perform most actions while getting boosted. Many beginner players tend to focus too heavily on the boosts and let their lines go to waste and get a ton of stucks and then still don't understand why they aren't getting fast times. So again, I feel it's important to emphasize to focus more on your movement and execution rather than boosts when you first start out playing. Focusing on movement as opposed to boosts will improve your skill greatly and help you get the faster times you're looking for. At this point, I've covered all the basic techniques and knowledge that you need to get started, so in the next video I'll cover some of the good starter levels and beginning goal times.